Hey guys, today we're going to run over the topic of motivation and the influence it has on physical activity. I'd like to take this chance to introduce myself. I'm Garrett. I'm currently studying sports psychology and I'm interested in the influence motivation has on physical activity participation. Motivation is a force or drive an individual has, whether that be internal or external in origin. It leads to the beginning, intensity, duration, and direction of a given behaviour. In regards to physical activity and exercise, it is the drive force an individual has with respect to wanting to participate and their level of participation. The internal origin of motivation is known as intrinsic motivation, meaning the individual has motivation originating from themselves and they gain enjoyment, self-satisfaction and pleasure out of being involved in physical activity and exercise. For example, a person playing soccer will play for that feeling of satisfaction they gain from being involved with the group, the type of sport, the movements, and could be up to the competitive nature of the sport that accompanies that activity. While external motivation is participating as a means to an end rather than because of the enjoyment and satisfaction that comes from the activity. This could be to obtain an external reward, such as medals, trophies, contracts, paid contracts, and also to avoid social pressures like restraints. So an individual may train and practice for years on end to compete in the Olympics, say, and that is their sole goal is to win a gold medal and have that fame and glory that accompanies it, but they don't gain enjoyment from that. They don't enjoy the activity they're doing for years on end. Also, it could be they go to training on a Wednesday afternoon because they don't want to be benched on the upcoming game on this weekend. So they're trying to avoid that pressure the coach is going to put them under. Other type of motivation is introjected regulation, is where the reasons for actions and participation has become more internalised. These simply replace the external source of the motivation to be an internal one, that is self-imposed guilt and anxiety. This could be that a person would feel guilty if they didn't go to practice or exercise, although it could be believed that this motivation has now become intrinsic in origin. This is not the case because there is no satisfaction or joy that accompanies this participation. It still leaves this mindset to be extrinsically motivated. Another form of motivation is a motivation, which is similar to learned helplessness. Individuals who have this type of motivation do not see the links between their actions and the resulting outcomes. It is characterised by a feeling of incompetence and a lack of control over the situation. They have neither intrinsic motivation nor extrinsic motivation. While this situation, the person can no longer find good reason to why they should continue to train and compete in a sport. And if this player remains in this state for an extended period of time, they could potentially stop training, stop competing and drop out of their sport. And that, from a sports psychology point of view, is not what we want from our clients. The different types of motivation have different resulting behaviours. The more positive outcomes arise from intrinsic motivation. These include, but not limited to, concentration, sportsmanship, flow, enjoyment, decreased anxiety, as well as some behavioural outcomes like expended effort, intentions, level of persistence, adherence in exercise, and as well as performance. As an athlete or someone from the general population, it is recommended that participation in exercise be motivated from an intrinsic aspect, so that the individual not only gains physiological benefits from exercising but also psychological benefits. There are a number of ways we can increase motivation of an individual. This could be through the avenue of the additive principle, by increasing the extrinsic motivation with increases in material rewards such as increased paid contracts, more media coverage of their performance. Yet there is a risk and the potential that this type of approach will decrease the intrinsic motivation that the athlete already has and take away from the joy that they experience from playing their sport. So, say Steve Smith is paid 20% more because he was number one batsman in the world. That may begin to play on his mind more, and he might not enjoy batting as much. That could be the result of his decrease in performance in the latest Ashes series. Another option is through competitive success. Often sporting teams will schedule a warm-up match at the beginning of their season or halfway through their season against a lesser quality side to have essentially an easy win, to gain the feeling of success and that high feeling you get from winning a match. This avenue increases the players' intrinsic motivation because they want to train harder, play harder for that success, because they enjoy the feeling they get at the end of it. So this, for a general population, could be through their realistic goals they set. Once they complete that goal, they'll feel better, have increased motivation to continue with their progress, and that their efforts that they are putting in are gaining results. So they will continue participating in exercise, continue participating in the gym, sporting teams, come training regularly. Although this can have the potential for negative results. So the team that loses will experience negative, detrimental effects to their motivation. So they can often ask themselves negative questions like, why am I still playing? Is this sport for me? What's the point of coming to train? We're going to get flogged this weekend anyway. So that can have a negative effect on their performance and their participation throughout the remainder of their season and throughout the rest of their history exercising. So in conclusion, guys, the topics that were discussed here today in the clip are only brief because of time restraints. Also, the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation have deeper components to them, and these can be researched through textbooks, research articles, as well as online websites. Thank you for watching today. I hope you